Such great lyrics in that song. I love that I can't be a, what's the lyric about ninja? I can't be a,
I practice like a ninja, and I said, but you're saying I can't be a peaceful warrior.
I can't be a peaceful warrior, right? But I love that. I practice like a ninja and I something like a priest, study like a priest. So I want to take that idea and talk to you today about what you're doing here, why you're here, and what you're doing with what you get here. Because that's really the most important part to me. What are you doing with what you get here? Last week I talked to you about the 3 T's of listening. That we tend to listen to the things in our lives, and then we tend to listen to the thoughts about the things in our lives, and then every so often we allow ourselves to listen to the truth. But our real goal is to come from the truth. So how many of you this week paid attention to when your mind was literally focusing on things out here? How many of you paid attention? The rest of you are like, is that what you said last week? Try it this week. I did. I really did. And I was floored at how often my thoughts were in the things. Bless you. I was shocked at how much my mind focused on the things. So much so that then I noticed I was focusing on the thoughts about the things, and I was actually even focused on my annoyance about the things I was focusing on. So I was like, where's the truth in all of this? It's really having a hard time getting through my thoughts and things. So last week for me was a great talk. I had a great time with it. All week I worked on it. So I also read the quote from Ernest Holmes, which is, "The spirit within man is God. And only to the degree that we listen to and seek to obey the spirit shall we really succeed." So the spirit within man is God. Well, we have moved, that was 1927. We have moved to the spirit, I got to figure this out now. The spirit within man. We don't talk about spirit within man anymore. That within me is God because I am that spirit. And last night we did an ordination of Reverend Cliff Rubin in Burbank. And I was so joy-filled when the president of Centers for Spiritual Living, the number one man in Centers for Spiritual Living, in his talk said out loud with these words, "Let's face it, folks, we are God." And I was like, I heard this from Dr. John Waterhouse. Those words, we are God. I am God. So that's the truth. Coming from there, and we have moved from Ernest Holmes, there's that within us that is God, to, wait, I am God. Well, guess what? If you're God, what are you going to do about it? That's a big question. You can no longer live a life of less than. You can no longer live all of your problems, all of the things, all of the crap. You just can't. You can't afford to live from there when you know who you are. There's no more, you can no longer say to yourself, well, that's just the way it goes. No, that's not just the way it goes. That's how you just sent it. Now, it's tough sometimes because then you got to take responsibility for all this stuff. You got to look at your world and go, oh my, OMG, I actually created all of this stuff. That can be daunting. Anybody look at their world and sometimes get daunted and be like, wow, how do I get out of that? The same way you got into that. Create something else, just like Reverend Sharon said. Think again. Create again from a different place, though. So at the board meeting, one of the things we talked about was, why are we here? Why are we all here? And what's my job in this gathering we all do together on Sundays? What's my job? And my real job is I always say a minister's job is to inspire. I come in here on Sundays and I want to just, not that I feel I have to inspire you, but I want to be a tool for inspiration. I want to inspire on whatever level, with the music, bringing someone like Margaret Owens here to sit on a stage and just take our rapture and wrap it around ourselves. You know, that's part of what I get to do. But I'm also here to provide useful tools for living life. All of us. But where do those tools come from? They come from the teaching. They come from this philosophy. If I know I'm God, that's the biggest tool I can give you, your identity. to let you stop identifying with the world of form, let you stop identifying with what everyone's telling you you should be, and let you start identifying from the power of the universe. If you are the power of the universe, you're going to look at things a little differently. You're not going to look at a financial problem and think, "Oy." You might. But you're going to look at some challenge that comes along and go, "Wait a minute, I'm God." God doesn't look at this and think, "Oh my God." See that? No, you're going to have to say, "Oh my me." We should all walk around saying that. "Oh my me." Right? It's done. We're doing it now from now on. So that's why I'm teaching mental muscle, because for me, that book, when I wrote it, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, that book, when I wrote it, was my first understanding that there are tools to be used in this science. And yes, it's 16 weeks. So many of you have said to me, 16 weeks? Do you really want people to spend 16 weeks? I was like, how about the rest of your life? This is just 16 weeks with me personally to get these tools so clear that after those 16 weeks, you have transformed. So that's my job. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this: to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment you will ever have. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else. So the first tool is understanding who you are, and then to be willing to be that in a world that's constantly trying to make you someone else. Just think about your life in these next 20 seconds. Think about your whole life. How many times have you succumbed to trying to be something that everyone thinks you should be? I have at times. There are many times. As an actor, you're constantly trying to be who they want to hire, which, by the way, is the fastest way for an actor not to get hired. Because the best actors are the ones that walk in and show you their soul, show you who they really are, and then you know, is this who's going to pull this off? Is this the person that's going to inhabit this role because of who they truly are? I always love the great Meryl Streep. She gave this wonderful interview once, and she said, "I am never anyone other than Meryl Streep as that person." And she said, that's the problem with most actors. They're trying to be something they couldn't possibly be. Stanislavski said it. You cannot be someone else. You can only always be you in those conditions. But that's also what we have to take in religious science and understand. You cannot be the human being that you think you are when you are God. You are trying to be someone who you think the world will relate to, but you're not willing to step back and be God. Now, come from that and see who you really are. Be your authentic divine self from that state of mind, and then see what wants to come forward. We do it backwards so often. We think, here's what I should be, here's what the world wants, here's how, and I love this one, here's what's working right now for people. Here's what the world will buy, so I'll be that. But someone's buying it because somebody already beed that. Right? That's why they're buying it, because someone authentically became that thing, was that thing. You try to be that, you're just a replication of something that's not real. Be yourself, be your true God self, and listen, which is where we're going to get to, and now you're something new. Now you're Bill Gates. Now you're Steve Jobs. Now you're somebody who's doing something so different that the world stands up and listens. That's what we have to offer. That's what this teaching has to offer. Very often, we are listening to the wrong things. People want you to be certain that, they want you to be a certain way because it feels comfortable for them. Have you ever had someone in your life who doesn't like it when you become something else? The people, I love that. Me. No, but there are people in our lives, and I mean no disrespect to who these people are, but some of them are like mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and husbands and wives. We evolve. People evolve. I believe divorce happens in this world because when people do give themselves the freedom to evolve, sometimes they evolve in opposite directions. That's not failure. That's success. And I very often say divorce is not failure, it's success. Success at recognizing this no longer works, I'm going to do what works. So for all you divorced people out there, you've been a success. So our job is to, I wasn't planning on saying that. Kevin's watching in Texas. Don't devolve too much. I just said don't devolve. Don't evolve too much. So our job is to not be comfortable in wherever we are, and our job is also not to make other people comfortable, so I'll keep my light dim because it makes them uncomfortable when I let myself out. Can you imagine how many times someone has said to me they feel a little uncomfortable with my energy? I don't know why. It's true, though. And there were times when I would literally try to dim this amazing light. Just dim this light because it was more comfortable. More comfortable. When I was just starting my career as an actor, I was 19 years old, and I was on a tour of The Wizard of Oz in Detroit. And I was 19, and I was ready to rule the world. Not a lot's changed, but I was just ready to take everything on and rule the world, and I was playing the Scarecrow, and I was brilliant as the Scarecrow. There wasn't a bet. Ray Bolger, I was brilliant as the Scarecrow. And there was a woman who was playing Aunt Em. And now think about this. I'm 19 at the beginning of my career. Everything's possible. She was like 65 playing Aunt Em. Her career was over. She was 65 years old doing children's theater in Detroit. She was very bitter. And there was a day, we were in rehearsal, and I was jumping around the room and being my frivolous self and so excited. And she pinned me to a corner. She said, "Just stop it. You're not as good as you think you are. You think everything's out there waiting for you." And she gave me a whole lecture on how to dim my light and be just as depressed as she was. And I can only tell you that the whole rest of the day I was like, wow, am I really that awful? Is it really that hard out there? Is this like the beginning of a death toll? This acting thing? And it was just awful until the director, who apparently had watched it, later as we were leaving, he kept grabbing me aside and he went, "Everything she said is wrong." He said, "It's right for her, it's not right for you." And then I felt better. But just think about your own life. Where have you shown up and someone said, "Please dim that down"? Well, it's time to dim it back up. It's time to realize why there's that thing in you that wants to come out. It's time to come out of the closet as God. I think that's the next coming out of the closet. For everyone. See, you get to come out of the closet too. It's not just for gay people. Straight people can come out of the closet as God. And I don't think the experience is going to be any easier when you start telling people, "Oh, look, I'm God. Who are you?" Could you imagine saying that to someone? "Hi, I'm God. Who are you?" And if they don't say God, well, first of all, they're not going to talk to you. They're going to walk away. But if you say, "I'm God, who are you?" "Oh, wait, I know who you are. You're God, too." You got to have to say it like that, because that might be a good icebreaker. So I did this exercise yesterday at the board meeting. It's called the 3 Ds, and it's this. And I want you to do it right now, because we're going to do a little exercise, a very quick exercise. First, I want you to disabuse yourself of your plan for the day, for the rest of this day. I want you to disabuse yourself of what you think you're doing here, why you're here, what you're here to accomplish. I want you to disabuse yourself of everything. Just get rid of everything you think you know about you and this day. Then I want you to detach yourself, detach yourself from all the things out there in your life. Detach yourself from the things out there and the things in here. Give yourself the best opportunity to have a clean slate. And the third one, I want you to declare, disabuse, detach, declare that you are open to how the universe can use you. You are open for how the universe can use you. Or as Margaret said, surrender to your highest good. Okay? Disabuse, detach, and declare. Now, while you're there, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and I want you to listen to the sounds of this room. Nothing else. I'm going to stop talking in a second. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to just listen to the sounds in this room. Really make a list of what you hear. Okay, open your eyes. What did you hear? Dave.
I heard a motorcycle go down the street.
Of course, as soon as we all closed our eyes, a motorcycle came across the freeway. What else? What did you hear, Doug?
I heard the motorcycle, I heard the little ambient noise, and I heard the cell phone chirp.
Yes. Did you all hear the cell phone chirp? Great. Okay. So you all heard. What did you hear, Matt?
Obviously the outside sound.
Because you're right there.
In the chirp, but actually you walking across that carpet.
Oh, you did hear that. Okay, good. I didn't do that on purpose. So, what were you thinking while you were listening? I'm going to give you an answer. If you were really listening, you were thinking nothing because you instructed your mind to do something else. You instructed your mind. First of all, I asked you to detach. Asked you to disabuse yourself from what you think, detach from all the things out here. And then I asked you to do something. I asked you to declare that you're open to how the universe wants to use you, and then I asked you to listen. So you were listening. And if you were really, truly listening, you weren't doing anything else. That's how powerful your mind is. You can take your mind and listen to whatever you choose to listen to, which means you've just proved to yourself you can listen to the things, you can listen to your thoughts, or you could listen to the truth. You're at choice. That's how powerful you are. So the title of my talk today is this: what was that sound? Every week I look for something that I want to talk about. And usually something happens and I have a really good reason why I want to talk about something. So on Tuesday, I woke up very early because I was taking my son to school. As I was taking my son to school, he goes to school at Chaminade, close to here, and I thought, well, I'll just go right to Westlake. I'm rarely here at like 7:45 in the morning, but I thought I'll do that this day. So that means I need my gym clothes, I need my everything to take a shower at the gym, I need everything for my whole day. So I have everything, all this stuff, all these things. I've taken them over to my car, I'm putting them in the car. Will's got stuff where I need it, I'm asking him to move it. I'm putting my protein drink in the car. I've got everything in the car, and we leave for Chaminade. We are just about to hit Havenhurst, and it felt like a pine cone hit the car. And I said, what was that sound? What was that sound? And Will was like, I don't know. He said, you did take your cell phone off the top of the car, didn't you? And I had a moment because I looked in the rearview mirror and saw my cell phone bouncing down the 101 in rush hour traffic on a Tuesday morning. My cell phone, my lifeline, that thing that everybody gets me with, the thing I can communicate to the world with, was now bouncing down the 101. And I said to Will, well, I'm going to have to get off here, go back around, get back on this, and then come back up. And Will was like, and get out of the car? And park in the middle of the freeway during rush hour traffic and get your phone? He said, your phone or your life? Which one's more important? And he's talking to me, and I'm like, who's the adult in this car? And so I just kept driving. And then Will went to another conversation. He immediately went to something else. I went, hold on, I am still mourning the cell phone. So I don't care what college you go to at the moment. So we're just driving and driving and driving. And we get out of the car, and I'm dropping him off at his girlfriend's car so they can talk before school, I'm sure. And so he gets out of the car, and I hear him say at the top of his voice to Emma, he's like, dude left his cell phone on the car. It's on the 101. And I'm like, so this is insult to injury. Not only did I do something that was very painful, I'm now being mocked for it. So, lest you think I'm just telling you a story, I get to Westlake. I explain to Linda that I don't have a phone, so don't call me. And I spend my whole day in Westlake. But in the back of my mind, I am on the 101, being run over by about 500 cars and trucks. And so, but I have hope. No, I don't have hope. I have brilliant expectations of my life. So I expected that my phone somehow bounced and landed on the side, where the side is, where no one drives, and is just waiting for me to come get it. So that night I drive all the way home. It's really bumper to bumper. I pass Havenhurst, can't see that side. I get off at Van Nuys, come back on the freeway, and it's bumper to bumper traffic. So I'm like, this is a plus. I will be able to stop my car. People will be pissed off, but oh well. And I will get out of the car, stop people, and grab my phone. I had already told Kevin what had happened. Kevin was like, it's not there, James. You should not go try to get that phone. He said, I don't want to hear from the ambulance that you got hit. I was like, you know what? I don't have that in my consciousness. Apparently, I didn't have a cell phone that was live in my consciousness either. So I'm driving, and then I see my cell phone. All 7 billion pieces of it. All laying. Because the thing that wasn't destroyed was the protective cover. The cell phone was destroyed. The protective cover was fine. So I didn't have a cell phone. So I just went right to AT&T and got a brand new, gorgeous cell phone. Now here's the moral of the day, and then I will be done. Here's the moral of the day. Oh God, I have this whole Ernest Holmes quote. Well, you'll get it next week. The moral of the story was that I needed a new cell phone. I knew I needed a new cell phone. It was no longer playing my messages correctly. I'd get a message that you left on Tuesday on Friday. My texts were like coming in and then I couldn't scroll them. I had to turn off the phone, turn it back. But I didn't have the time in my life to go get a new cell phone, to go get a tool that would work for me in my life. I didn't have time. So what happens? The universe makes time for you. You can deliberately attend to the things you need to attend to in your life, or you can just watch it bounce down the 101 and cause you an entire day of suffering. So at the end of the day, today, my message to you is, what was that sound? You know what the sound really was? It was the truth bouncing on my car saying, wake up. You don't have to live in a world where you have a cell phone that's a mess. You don't have to live in a world where you are living from this level of understanding. You don't have to live in a world where you think you're James Mellon climbing a mountain and don't remember that you are God who made the mountain in the first place. So that's what I learned this week. So now when I hear, what was that sound? When I listen, I'm going, what was that sound? It's God in me as me saying, wake up and step up to the truth. You can let go of the things, you can let go of the thoughts, tap into the truth, and now go back to the things and the thoughts, and they're going to look very different. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.